Breaking news. Raiders. Silence the trade rumors. Breaking news out of Las Vegas. Raider Nation, hold on tight. There's been a lot of noise swirling around tight end Michael Mayer. For weeks, rumors have been flying that the Raiders were shopping him. But now, we've got a serious update, and this one is straight from the inside. According to a new report by Vincent Bonsignore, a trusted Raiders insider, the team has no plans whatsoever to trade Michael Mayer. That's right. All the earlier buzz about him being on the trade block, it's being shut down. Now, before we dive deeper into this big story, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so you never miss a single Raiders update. Big stories like this are coming fast, and you won't want to be left behind. All right, let's get into the new details. Mayer was originally rumored to be on the trade block, with early reports suggesting the Raiders might move on from him. But those reports came from sources far less connected than Bonsignore. And now that he's spoken, this sounds like the real truth. Michael Mayer is staying in silver and black. That's huge, because anyone who's watched this young tight end closely knows he's the real deal. No, he might not be a 1,500-yard superstar just yet, but give him the targets, give him the right role. He's capable of putting up 700 to 800 yards, catching 60-plus passes, and making major blocks to help the Raiders' offense thrive. What stands out most about Mayer is his balance. He's not just a pass catcher, he's a complete football player. He brings toughness, football IQ, and the kind of effort every team needs to win games. The Raiders invested in him for a reason, and keeping him in Vegas could pay off in a big way. In a league where success often comes down to just having good players, this move shows the Raiders understand that. Mayer may not be the flashiest name in the league, but his impact will be felt on every down, in every game. And that's not all. There's one more angle to this story. Another report just dropped connecting Mayer's role to a deeper team strategy. We'll break that down. Michael Mayer reveals a big role in Raiders' new offense. Michael Mayer is no longer waiting in the shadows. The young tight end just gave us a major hint about what's coming this season in the Raiders' offense. And from what he's saying, it sounds like big changes are on the way. In a recent team interview, Mayer talked openly about how he expects to be a major part of Chip Kelly's offensive system. If you remember last year under offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, Mayer often felt like an afterthought. The Raiders were running too many wide receiver-heavy sets, and Mayer wasn't given the spotlight he deserved. Even though he missed the first stretch of the season with an injury, his role when he returned still felt limited. But this season? That's about to change. Mayer explained that under Chip Kelly's leadership, he's already being asked to do a bit of everything, and he's excited for it. He talked about spending a lot of time on the field with fellow tight end Brock Bowers and how the team is focusing heavily on 12 and even 13 personnel, formations that feature 2 or even 3 tight ends on the field at once. That's not just talk. According to reports from Raiders training camp, the team has been consistently running 2 tight end sets, which perfectly fits Mayer's skill set. Mayer himself summed it up best. I've got to block. I've got to pass protect. I've got to run routes, catch the ball, and make plays. Whatever Coach Chip asks of me, I've got to be ready to do it all. This kind of mindset shows maturity and hunger. Mayer isn't just preparing for a few catches here and there. He's getting ready to become a core part of the offense. Whether it's sealing the edge in the run game, staying in for pass protection, or lining up to score touchdowns, Mayer is gearing up to be one of the most versatile weapons the Raiders have. Last year, we were told the Raiders would use more 12 personnel, but it never materialized. This year, it's different. Chip Kelly is building something new, something balanced, and Mayer is right at the center of it. If this early insight holds true, don't be surprised if Michael Mayer becomes one of the breakout stars of the 2025 season, not just for the Raiders, but across the entire NFL. Raiders offense getting bigger, stronger, and smarter. Under Chip Kelly. The Raiders are heading into the 2025 season with a clear vision, and that vision is physical, tough, and smart football. Under new offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, the plan is simple. Run the ball, control the clock, and play clean, mistake-free football. And that's exactly the kind of system head coach Pete Carroll wants to see on the field. This new direction explains why we're hearing so much about formations like 12 personnel. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers. But here's the surprising part. The Raiders might not stop there. According to recent practice reports and hints from the players themselves, Las Vegas could be leaning heavily into 13 personnel, a rare but powerful formation that includes 3 tight ends on the field at once. That's not something most NFL teams use outside of short yardage situations or goal line plays, but a few smart offenses like the 49ers and Dolphins, use it to wear down defenses and control tempo. And Chip Kelly might be taking a page right out of that playbook. What makes this especially dangerous is how versatile the Raiders' tight ends are. You don't have to line up all 3 in traditional spots. For example, Brock Bowers can shift into the slot and become a receiving threat. Ian Thomas can take on a fullback role. Michael Mayer can hold the line as the classic in-line tight end. This flexibility makes it harder for defenses to predict the play. Are they about to power run through the middle or spread it wide for a pass? That unpredictability is going to be a key weapon in the Raiders' offense. But here's what really stands out. Michael Mayer himself is giving us a preview of the plan. He's openly talking about the multiple roles he's preparing for: blocking, route running, catching passes, and pass protection. This isn't just a guy playing his part. Mayer is being built into the foundation of the offense. And the best part? The Raiders are keeping him. Despite earlier rumors about trade talks, all signs now point to Mayer staying in Vegas, ready to become a major part of this new-look offense. The excitement doesn't stop there, though. While it's not directly Raiders-related, there's one more twist worth mentioning. Former Raiders tight end Darren Waller is coming out of retirement, and he's already been traded. We'll touch on what that means and how it connects back to the silver and black, coming up next. Darren Waller unretires, gets traded. But what does it mean? In a surprising twist, Darren Waller is back. The former Raiders star tight end has officially come out of retirement and found a new home, this time with the Miami Dolphins. Here's how it all went down. The Giants traded Waller to the Dolphins in what was essentially a low-risk swap. The Giants received a 6th-round pick, the Dolphins got a 7th-rounder, and Waller was included in the deal. That's it. Just a simple flip of late-round picks and a Pro Bowl-caliber tight end thrown in. What makes this even more wild? Just a little over a year ago, the Raiders traded Waller to the Giants for a 3rd-round pick, and they used that pick to select wide receiver Trey Tucker. When you look at that, it's hard not to feel like the Raiders got the better end of the deal. Still, Waller's story is one that's far more than just numbers and trades. He retired suddenly, and many people were left wondering why. But recently, Waller opened up about it. On a podcast, he shared that during a game, he was asked to be a lead blocker. And in that moment, something clicked. He thought to himself, "What am I doing? Why am I still playing?" That moment of clarity led him away from the game. And honestly, not every player lives and breathes football forever. Some walk away because the passion fades, or their body and mind need something else. And that's perfectly okay. But stepping away can also lead to a new kind of realization. Being out of the league for over a year might have sparked something in Waller. Maybe he missed the competition. Maybe he missed the game itself. And now he's decided to come back and give it one more shot. Some critics have questioned his decision, even suggesting he might have run into financial trouble. But there's no proof of that. And frankly, it doesn't seem like the real reason. Sometimes, when football is all you've known, you only realize how much it matters once it's gone. Whether you loved him as a Raider or followed him to New York, there's no denying Darren Waller has talent. He's overcome challenges that would have ended most careers. And now, with a fresh opportunity in Miami under head coach Mike McDaniel, he could become a dangerous weapon again. Imagine Waller in a system designed for speed, creativity, and mismatches. It could work beautifully. And while this move doesn't directly impact the Raiders anymore, it's a reminder of how quickly the NFL can shift. Players move, stories change, and sometimes comebacks surprise us all. Up next, another NFL headline worth discussing, and one that might hit closer to home than you think. Why did teams pass on Shedeur Sanders? Stunning new details emerge. A new report has shed light on why quarterback Shedeur Sanders, one of the most talked-about names in college football, may have slipped past several NFL teams, including the Las Vegas Raiders. And honestly, what's being reported is shocking. According to multiple sources, including Albert Breer, Sanders struggled during meetings with at least one NFL team, the New York Giants. Here's what allegedly happened. During his pre-draft evaluation, the Giants gave Sanders a basic install, a set of plays with intentional mistakes hidden inside. This is a common tactic teams use to test a quarterback's attention to detail and football IQ. But Sanders didn't catch the errors, and when the coaching staff pointed it out, he didn't take it well. Instead of using the moment to learn or respond calmly, Sanders reportedly got frustrated and angry. According to Breer, things went downhill from there. And for NFL scouts, that kind of reaction raised red flags, not just about his preparedness, but about his mindset. Let's be clear, NFL interviews and whiteboard sessions are intense. Scouts dig deep. They ask about high school events, old coaches, even your body language under pressure. Every reaction gets noted. They want to see how you respond when the situation isn't perfect, because the NFL never is. That's why this report is so surprising. You'd expect a high-profile prospect, especially one with NFL bloodlines like Shedeur Sanders, to be coached up for this kind of moment. But if these details are true, it suggests something deeper, a lack of readiness for what NFL life truly demands. And this might explain why teams like the Raiders, who could have considered Sanders, ultimately decided to pass. It's not just about talent. Everyone knows Sanders can throw the football. He's mobile, confident, and has shown flashes of brilliance at Colorado. But being an NFL quarterback is about leadership, poise, and sharp mental processing. Teams need to trust you to study film, absorb complex game plans, and stay cool under pressure, even when a coach tests you with a trick question. In today's NFL, especially at quarterback, the smallest red flags can push a player down the draft board, and, fair or not, this may have been one of them. What happens next for Shedeur Sanders will be up to him. He has time to grow, to learn, and to respond to this criticism the right way. But make no mistake, the NFL saw something during those meetings, and it left an impression. More red flags around Shedeur Sanders. What scouts really saw. The Shedeur Sanders story continues to unfold, and it's getting even more revealing. New details are coming out about what happened during his pre-draft interviews, and it's painting a clearer picture of why so many NFL teams, including the Raiders, may have passed on him. Let's break it down. During one of his film sessions with a team, Sanders was shown a basic play design. On the left side of the field, a receiver was running a post route, and on the same side, another receiver was also running a post. That's a problem. You don't draw up two post routes in the same area. It clogs the space, confuses the coverage, and simply doesn't make sense in a real game situation. But that's exactly what teams were testing. They intentionally included incorrect route combinations to see if Sanders would spot the issue. And he didn't. He missed it entirely. For NFL evaluators, that's a red flag, because recognizing those details is what separates college talent from pro-ready quarterbacks. But that wasn't the only moment that raised eyebrows. In another meeting, Sanders was asked about a bad interception he threw early in a game. Instead of breaking down the coverage or admitting the mistake, his response was this: "I like to get into rhythm early." That answer didn't go over well. The coaching staff pushed back, and Sanders pushed back even harder. Eventually, he told them flat out, "Maybe I'm not the right fit for your team." That statement left a strong impression, and not the good kind. According to someone present at that meeting, it was the first time they'd ever heard a quarterback say that during a combine interview. And remember, these interviews aren't casual. They're the NFL's version of job interviews, where players are expected to show maturity, coachability, and a deep understanding of the game. Coming off as defensive or dismissive, that's the fastest way to lose a team's trust. Now here's the thing, I was never completely sold on Shedeur Sanders as a first-round pick, even before these reports came out. As early as November, I had doubts. And it wasn't because of attitude or interviews. Those details weren't even public yet. My concerns were about the tape. Sanders looked like a slow processor. He often struggled with deep throws, especially beyond 15 to 25 yards. His ball placement was inconsistent, and while his short game stats looked good, the deeper routes exposed real limitations. A lot of people disagreed. They pointed to his completion percentage and flashy highlights, but raw numbers don't tell the whole story. In the NFL, accuracy, anticipation, and timing are everything, especially for quarterbacks expected to lead a franchise. Now, with all this new information surfacing, it seems that teams had serious reasons to hesitate. What happens next for Shedeur is uncertain. He still has time to develop, but if he wants to make it at the next level, he'll need to prove he can grow, both on and off the field. Stats versus tape. The real story behind Shedeur. Sanders' evaluation. There's one thing that keeps getting misunderstood when it comes to quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders, and it's the dangerous gap between stats and tape. People often point to completion percentages or flashy numbers to prove a quarterback is accurate. But let's be honest, stats don't always tell the full story. A 3-yard screen pass? That's an easy completion, but it doesn't say much about a quarterback's decision-making, timing, or deep ball placement. Now compare that to a 50-yard throw into tight coverage. Even if it's incomplete, it may show more skill than 5 short passes combined. That's exactly why tape matters. And when you watch Sanders closely, the inconsistencies show up. His mechanics break down under pressure. His accuracy on intermediate and deep routes isn't where it needs to be, especially for someone expected to be a franchise QB. I felt this way for a while. Even back during the season, it was hard to project him as a first-round pick based on what he showed on film. There were flashes of talent, no doubt, but there wasn't enough consistency to label him elite. Meanwhile, Cam Ward showed promise in spurts. Not perfect, but certainly intriguing for quarterback-needy teams like the Titans. We'll see how that gamble plays out. Now, Sanders is with the Cleveland Browns, and I truly hope he makes the most of it. He's still young and talent isn't his issue. Development and maturity are. If he can take criticism, sharpen his mental game, and respond with professionalism, there's still a path forward. That said, if I had to bet on upside right now, Dillon Gabriel might be the more refined option between the two. He's not flashy, but he's composed, accurate, and seems more prepared for the demands of the NFL. Leadership might be his only question mark. He's quiet, maybe too quiet. And in this league, quarterbacks don't just throw. They command a locker room. The Browns have a crowded quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and now 2 rookies. It's going to be a battle, and someone's going to get cut. Whether Sanders rises or falls depends entirely on how he responds, not just in practice, but in mindset. In the end, this is the side of football most fans never see. It's not just about arm strength or throwing touchdowns. It's about how you think, how you lead, and how you handle the pressure when every move is being watched. And that's what separates the prospects from the professionals.